Good evening viewers, welcome to tonight's edition of Media Plus Daily News. First, the headlines. 2 NGOs file FIR against politicians for alleged tampering. Rajya Puraskar awarded to scouts and guides for their excellent performance. Little Flower School celebrates its Golden Jubilee. Now the news in detail. 2 organizations, the Civil Society Women's Organization and Meghalaya Right to Information Movement, on Wednesday urged the state police to take action against the 5 cabinet ministers, the Assembly Speaker and 6 legislators of the Congress-led coalition government, besides other politicians, for alleged tampering with the score sheets of the candidates applying for the post of assistant teachers in government lower primary schools in 2010. In the FIR, which was lodged at Limukra police station, the report clearly mentioned that former Education Minister Mrs. Ampreen Lingdo had instructed the then Director Elementary and Mass Education J.D. Sangma and 2 of her supporters to tamper, forge the score sheets by applying white fluid.
See what came out in the press. I think not only myself, but I think the entire state is shocked at what the report had revealed and what the press ultimately revealed. What I found more shocking also was the Chief Minister stressing more importance on who has revealed or released this to the press rather than taking real note of the real issue, which is manipulation of the marks.
It's a case of shooting the messenger.
That's true. So therefore, I think the Chief Minister is completely wrong in his approach, and I think he should focus on the real problem. At the same time, I have not seen the copy of the report. We have not been given the copy. So I will not be able to comment on who's responsible, who's not responsible in this. And as I said, their names have been coming out. Whether the names are correct or not correct, I really don't know. So it will be incorrect for me to specify any particular names. But the entire process of manipulation of marks and removing the people who deserve to be there and who were in the merit list is completely wrong and unacceptable. And the people who have been involved and the people who have given the orders to do this must definitely be punished in this situation. I think this particular incident has brought to light maybe many of the different incidents that have been taking place in the past in this Congress government. Maybe there have been many other cases in which this Congress government has been manipulating the system and ensuring that the genuine people do not get the scheme or the job that they deserve to get. And I think it reflects the working system of the Congress government. And we do not accept this kind of a system that is there in place. And I think this will set a very strong precedent for the future. And therefore, if action is not taken against those who are guilty, it will be completely incorrect. As I said, I don't know who are the people who are responsible for this. I don't want to take names because I have not seen the report. I have only seen reports that have come out in the press. So therefore, I will not want to make comments on the names. But as I said, whoever is responsible and whoever who are responsible in the sense who have directed and given the order, because a lot of people, especially officers, will simply go by the order and sometimes they will not have a choice. Therefore, it will not be correct to simply say that the people who actually ultimately perform the task were the people who are responsible. I think the leadership and the people who have given the instructions are the people who are responsible.
Joining the rest of the Bharat Scouts and Guides, which is a voluntary, non-political and educational movement for young people to shape and build service and patriotism, the Meghalaya Bharat Scouts and Guides Shillong celebrated its 62nd Foundation Day and Rajya Puraskar rally at Raj Bhavan on Wednesday. Meanwhile, 45 scouts and 15 guides from different schools of Meghalaya were awarded with the Rajya Puraskar Award for their excellent performance. Besides, two teachers, P. Taryang and S. Dingdo, were also recipients of the award besides 3 Scout Masters for their meritorious services. Addressing the 62nd Foundation Day of the Bharat Scout and Guides held at the Raj Bhavan on Wednesday, Mushahari lauded the initiatives of the Meghalaya Bharat Scouts and Guides in educating the citizens of the state in various fields such as civic sense, hygiene, besides others. He said the education provided by the MBSG helps the students become good citizens in life. However, Mushahari lamented about the poor work ethics in the country, which he felt is very poor, causing stagnation to the development and progress of the region. He observed, India has too many holidays and this calls for reformation for a better work culture.
Well, I am really delighted to see the various social flashes that you have demonstrated today. These are very relevant issues, and we are extremely proud that the Scouts and Guides of our state are trying to educate the people on the need for civic responsibility of every citizen. If every citizen is educated in this direction, I think we can have a much higher standard of hygiene and better education, which the ideals of Scouts and Guides are trying to impress on the citizens of this country.
Viewers, we will now take a very short break. Do stay tuned for more.
Unhesitatingly across the country's borders, on land, on sea, and in the air. Every day they battle to preserve the freedom that's so dear to all of us. Acts of bravery that make them the unforgettables. Our armed forces have won worldwide renown for their valor, dedication and devotion. The achievements of our armed forces in varying roles since independence are a matter of pride for all of us in the country. Men from all castes, creeds, religions, and from all parts of India join the armed forces, and their integration as a secular, homogeneous, and dedicated organization is remarkably total. This short film is a tribute to our great warriors to commemorate the Armed Forces Flag Day. On 7th December every year, our nation remembers the services of the forces. As the contingents of the armed forces salute the President of India, the Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces on the Republic Day, new acts of valor are being performed by their colleagues on our vast frontiers, extending from Siachen Glacier in the north to the secondary forests and mountains of the northeast, and in the undeclared proxy war in Jammu and Kashmir. Freedom and integrity of our great nation is truly safeguarded by the sentinels of our borders, our sky, and the seas, the Indian Armed Forces. Ever since the country gained its freedom from the colonial rule, it has been subjected to inimical designs and threats from across our borders and the line of control. Our valiant personnel of the three services have given a befitting reply to the adversary in all wars and actions, and have preserved the honor and safety and integrity of our great country. Be it the external aggression or in aid to civilian authority, our armed forces have more than adequately risen to the occasion and performed their duties. The sacrifices made by the personnel of the armed forces from 15th August 1947 to date have been innumerable. It is on the Armed Forces Flag Day, observed on 7th December each year, that their services are remembered. The history of our armed forces is replete with acts of valor and gallantry in the face of enemy, be it open war or the cross-border terrorism perpetrated from across our border. Every day there is a new challenge that arises, which is faced by the brave men in uniform. The supreme sacrifice of our soldiers leaves behind a trail of woe for the family, which needs to be understood and appreciated by each and every citizen. It is now our moral bounden duty to ensure that the widows and children they leave behind are suitably rehabilitated and cared for, and are rendered all possible help to enable them to live a life of dignity and honor. Our armed forces are an important instrument of the state for maintaining law and in time of internal unrest, and also rendering a helping hand and succor to our countrymen during natural calamities. The welfare and safety of our citizens is very close to the hearts of our servicemen. It is the bounden duty for every citizen to come forward and lend his moral and financial support to the families of our martyrs who've laid down their today for our tomorrow. Kendriya Sainik Board, under the chairmanship of the Raksha Mantri, the apex body of the Sainik Board organization, has been entrusted with the task of looking after the welfare and rehabilitation of ex-servicemen, widows and dependents. The total clientele is over 1 crore. The Armed Forces Flag Day has been designated as a national day. Its significance is perhaps not known to many of our citizens and society, and is only realized when there is war. It is the day on which the bonds existing between the citizens and the armed forces are strengthened. The services rendered by the armed forces to preserve the honor and integrity of the nation commemorated, and our valiant soldiers and the martyrs remembered. This is also a day for introspection by the citizens of our country. It is a solemn occasion for the nation to stand together on this day, grateful for the opportunity to express their appreciation to the armed forces, that no matter where they are serving, within the country's border or elsewhere, internally, the nation stands committed to their support. Can the citizens help the families of martyrs, disabled personnel and the veterans to lead a life of dignity? Surely this is possible with the support of our citizens. It's a time to remember their sacrifices on the field of the battle or in many different ways that characterize armed forces' aid to civil power. This support can be extended through voluntary contributions to the Armed Forces Flag Day Fund. The Armed Forces Flag Day Fund has well-run schemes for the welfare and rehabilitation of our widows and disabled soldiers. This is registered under Endowments Act as a charitable fund. The schemes include reimbursement of medical claims for the treatment of serious diseases such as heart surgery, cancer treatment, and of paraplegics, tetraplegics, the blind, those suffering from incurable diseases, and services of Indian Red Cross. This fund pays for the free education of the wards of martyrs and disabled in war memorial hostels, marriage of the daughters of the widows, support to veterans and widows in penury, and relief for those who suffered from natural calamities or disasters. Magnum support from each citizen is hence required for rehabilitation of the families of the valiant, the martyrs, the unsung heroes, the disabled, and the needy veterans. The armed